Bit overripe, that one. Best I could do this week. People just never die when it suits you. Do they, Doctor? Oh, beg your pardon, Baron.
You don't have to count it. It's all there.
Always is, always is. See you next week.
Lynch,
Yeah?
I may need you sooner than next week. Something very special this time.
Oh, I like that. Very special. Has a ring of money to it, eh?
I want a corpse dead no longer than 6 hours. 200.
No, 500.
300.
Done. Let's say I'm a patron of science. But I can't promise.
Results, not promises.
I don't understand your trusting him so much.
Money, Charles, is a miracle drug for people like Lynch. Such a grotesque dream. Or perhaps he shall be a nightmare.
Would it matter?
Not to me, not if I can give him life. That's worth anything.
Including your own life?
Even that. To succeed in creating life is the ultimate achievement. To hesitate, to fear, to doubt now would make everything I've ever done pointless, empty. This is my life.
But to create life, shouldn't man leave that to God?
Here on Earth, man is God. Go to bed, Charles. Tanya will arrive in the morning. You'll want to look your best.
Good night.
Good night.
Well, I thought I would at least deserve a hello.
I'm sorry, Tanya. I'm very happy to see you. Your father and I were always happy to see you. Here, let me help you.
Thank you.
How lovely you look. Thomas! Thomas, come here. Thomas? Would you please take Mademoiselle's luggage? Take the luggage inside. Luggage inside, eh? Tanya? Your father is still dressing. He worked rather late last night.
As usual. Is he still experimenting with animal transplants?
Well, you know how he is. He's been at it for 20 years. He'll be at it for another 20, but tell me about the university.
Well, except for my studies, it was rather boring. But I didn't go there to socialize. Aren't you pleased? I'm like my father, stubborn. When I want something, I get it. And I did. First of my class. I'm now a licensed surgeon.
Congratulations, Doctor.
Father! Father! Oh, so
My
nice to
little
see
girl.
you. Oh.
Is that the way for a licensed surgeon to behave?
This one does.
Oh, yeah, Jack Morgan, poor son of a bitch. They're gonna hang him good. Snap his neck for sure.
What about it, Simon? You and Harry with me?
Poor son of a bitch, Jack Morgan. Never did like him, though. Neither did you, right?
I'm waiting, yes or no.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tom.
And Harry?
Where I go, he goes.
Toast to Jack Morgan. Long may he die.
But you have heard this story many times before.
It doesn't matter, Father. It's a charming story. You know, Father, the name Frankenstein still echoes through the halls of the university.
I'm not surprised, but I stopped caring about those fools when I left them with their hands clapped over their ears 30 years ago. Please sit down, Charles. Your leg must be tired.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
Was it difficult? I mean, very difficult being my daughter.
Sometimes. Mostly it was my being a woman. The professors have a lot of old-fashioned ideas about a woman's place.
I'm sure you will make a fine surgeon.
Thank you, Charles. But I do not want to be merely a fine surgeon.
What do you want?
To assist you, Father, in your work. You know, since I was a youngster, I was always interested in your experiments. Each summer when I was here, I would sneak into your laboratory.
But it was always locked.
I know. But I discovered the other way. The one through the wall. The bedroom wall.
Huh. Well, you little devil.
I was always curious. I still am. I'm curious to see how far you have progressed. And to show you my own progress.
I shall be delighted to discuss it with you, of course, as doctor to doctor.
Good. But I must warn you that my ideas are quite radical. Even more so than yours, Father.
Really?
Of course. I am my father's daughter.
You are referring to animal transplants.
Human.
Why another 100?
This order is very delicate. There are certain people that have to be paid in advance.
What people?
Well, Baron, you know, I can't tell you. Professional ethics.
Don't speak to me of ethics.
If you want what you want, it will cost you another 100. The way I see it, Baron, you don't have any choice.
I'll have to get it for you.
Take your time and don't worry. I won't sit down. I wouldn't want to damage this wonderful furniture.
Excuse me. I was looking for my father.
Would that be Dr. Marshall?
It would not.
Well, I never thought the Baron had it in him.
But Dr. Marshall would.
No, not on his best night. A drink, eh?
Much too early.
Never too early. For anything.
My dear sir, you are an obnoxious man. Extremely vulgar. And I'm certain that whatever you are thinking is merely fantasy on your part. I would say that you spend too much time alone in your fantasies. Be careful. It will soften your brain far quicker than whiskey.
How can somebody so lovely be such a bitch?
It depends on the company I'm with. I'm sorry, Father. I'm sorry. I didn't know you had a visitor.
Mr. Lynch,
Yes.
I will see you out.
Always a pleasure to talk to a lady. Good day, lady.
Father, I said I was sorry.
I heard you.
Oh, yeah.
200 now. 200 on delivery. When will it be?
Very soon.
When?
They're hanging Jack Morgan day after tomorrow.
So?
So he's your man.
Well, I don't suppose you'll be missing Jack Morgan very much.
About as much as I would miss you, Captain.
That really depresses me, Lynch. Because one day you'll be shaking hands with Morgan in hell.
Oh, I'll save my other hand for you, Captain.
You don't have much time, Lynch. You're sure to make a mistake one day. And that's the day I'll own you. And it won't be just jail for you. You're too clever for that. It's the hanging line. That's what you want, and I'll see you get what you want. It's the least I can do.
Maybe you will, maybe you won't.
Oh, I will.
Yeah?
I will, Lynch.
Did you hear?
Doctor.
What are you doing here?
I was on my way to town. I saw the people. Why? What's going on?
Something I'd rather you not see.
A hanging.
I've never seen a hanging.
Nor will you see this one.
Now, Father, I may be a woman, but I am also a doctor. Death is nothing new to me.
This is not death, Tanya. This is legalized murder.
Maybe she should stay to see the difference.
Maybe she should.
Thank you, Charles.
Don't thank him yet.
Are you ready, Jack?
And what if I made any difference,
Just
you
a
idiot?
short step from here.
Why didn't I ever cut your throat?
Seunte seum clamidem conciniam circundederunt ei, et plectentes coronam de spinis fortificentis et expuentes in eum acceperunt arundum.
Ready.
Requiem aeternam dona ei, Domine, et lux perpetua luce a te. Amen.
Tanya knows about the animals.
But how?
I don't know. She asked me why you still had them, and I didn't. What are we going to do?
Not
Tanya
natural.
mustn't find out what...
Whoa! Whoa. Pay up, Baron.
Good work, Lynch. Good work.
Thank you.
Charles.
Go on, Turner. Earn your money. Yes, sir, Baron. I really like doing business with you. It's clean and it's quiet.
Was it difficult?
As difficult as drinking a bottle of whiskey. And you can see that's not very difficult.
How much blood?
1 liter this time. Good. Now we're ready.
Tanya.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't.
I was hoping you wouldn't do this.
So this is why you no longer use the animals. Human transplants.
Tanya, will you please leave?
But I can help you.
You don't understand.
I do, Father. I do. What are you going to do with the brain?
Tanya, please.
Father, will you both stop treating me like a child? I'm a doctor, a surgeon. I even think like you do.
No.
It's impossible. Charles.
It is not impossible, Tanya.
But the heart, the brain, you have to keep them alive.
Yes, we've done it before.
Inside another human body?
We don't need a human body.
But you are going to put Morgan's heart and brain into that creature.
Tanya, no more questions.
But Father...
I don't want you to get involved. If anything should go wrong, the law would hold you equally responsible. And I don't want that to happen. Soon I'll tell you everything. Please be patient.
I'll try. Good luck.
Is everything ready?
Ready.
Timing device, quickly.
Timing device ready, Doctor.
Set it.
Give it a few more seconds. I hope Mr. Morgan's brain is as cooperative.
It will be, Charles. So for the past 20 years, my experiments with animal transplants have been pointed to this week. All the abuses I have endured from my friends, all the accusations against my sanity, and worse, will be thrown into their sanctimonious faces.
Looking for something?
Yes, clouds. I need a storm for my final step, an electrical storm. For only lightning will give the creature life. That's why I haven't transplanted the heart and the brain. Oh, I can keep them alive indefinitely in the laboratory, but once I transplant them, they'll survive only a few hours unless they're activated by lightning.
I want to see how you keep them alive.
You shall.
You will succeed, Father.
I will. I promise you I will. And the medical world will be brought to its knees.
I want that so much. To see you realize your dream. Something that no one will ever take away from you.
They won't have to. I'll give it to them. Gladly.
Doctor, quickly. Just below the cortex.
In the white matter?
No, further down, in the gray matter. See? The hypothalamus is damaged. It's no good, Doctor. It must be repaired.
There isn't time.
We must make the time. You cannot use a damaged brain.
To what extent is it damaged? Perhaps it's minor.
And if it isn't, the hypothalamus is the main center of the automatic nervous system. You may be creating something that cannot function. What good would that be? To give it life and just let it lie there, nothing more?
We'll have to take that risk.
What about anger and pleasure? Two emotions connected to the damaged part of the brain. Two vital emotions. Either one in excess could be devastating. Correct the damage first.
There isn't time, Charles. Every minute cuts into the life of that heart. 20 years. I can't throw away 20 years by minutes.
But think, Doctor.
Think, no. Instinct. Instinct changes the world, not thought, and my instinct tells me to transplant that brain right now. If you won't help me, I'll do it alone.
Very well, then.
Thank you, Charles.
Open it. worry, Charles. Everything will be fine. Bands will be done. Close the skylight. Hurry, Charles. Nothing. All we can do is wait.
But it's face.
Devil with his face. I don't care what he looks like. I want him to live. Failed, Charles. You're right. I should have taken time to repair the brain damage.
It probably wouldn't have made any difference. The effect of the damage would only show after the brain was reactivated.
We'll never know. And to never know is more frustrating than failure.
Take a long rest, Doctor. Then we can begin again.
I'm afraid not. No use trying to make me feel better. It's too late for me, Charles. Perhaps Tanya will succeed. Will you help her?
Of course. But wait and see how you feel in a month or so. You may change your mind.
I'll feel the same. I don't even know if I want her to attempt it.
A moment ago you did.
That was just self-indulgence. The whole experiment may have been a mistake.
No, it wasn't.
Who can say, Charles? Perhaps there are some things man should leave to God. Never thought I'd hear myself say. He's alive. Pete. Step back, Charles. Now. See. If this is really only taking place in our minds. Sit up. Sit up! Stand. Stand!
We've done it, Charles. We've done it. Look at it. Go get Tanya. She must share this moment. Hurry, get her.
Come forward. Come forward! Another step. Another step.
Tanya. Tanya. He's done it. It's alive. It's alive.
Oh, Charles. Oh. You're going to have to tell me all about... What are those footsteps?
Tanya, be quiet, please.
My father. What about my father? Father.
Tanya. Tanya.
I'm all right now, Charles.
I've got to get the police.
No. Not yet.
Tanya, I must.
Do you want to disgrace my father?
Your father's dead and you're worried about his name? You cannot keep this from the police.
Not his death. Only the creature.
That's impossible. What if it kills again? Its brain is damaged. I warned your father, but... Tanya, no. We must tell Harris.
Yes, tell him. But tell him it was a robber.
But there is Morgan's body.
What did you do with the other corpses?
The lie tank.
Put Morgan in it. Then you can go to Harris. Please, Charles.
I don't know, Tanya. What could you hope to gain?
Time. Time to think of some way to save my father's reputation. Please, Charles.
Animal organs, I believe.
Yes, of course. My father has been experimenting in animal transplants.
Very interesting. You saw this robber. A big man, you say? Yes, he would have to be a very big man. Big enough to... What did he steal?
Nothing as far as I can tell. I haven't had time to check everything.
My father must have surprised him.
I would think it was your father who was surprised. But what would a robber be doing in a laboratory?
He wouldn't have known it was a laboratory. He must have seen the light and he wanted to investigate.
Perhaps. You said he was a very big man. How big would you say?
I don't know. I was asleep.
At least half a foot taller than you, Captain.
Oh, really? That would make him more than 7 feet tall. Are you sure, Dr. Marshall?
Well, half a foot then. After all, he was running away when I saw him.
I thought you said you saw him with the Baron early.
Yes, but all that registered in my mind then was this hulk of a man gripping the Baron.
And then you entered a few moments after this robber killed the Baron.
I tried to stop him, but he threw me aside quite easily, and I couldn't...
And that was the time when you saw him run out?
Yes.
But you weren't hurt?
No, I wasn't.
How very fortunate. Well, I won't keep you any longer. I'm sure this has been quite an ordeal for both of you. Oh, by the way, the young man...
Thomas?
Thomas. Where was he?
He doesn't live here. He comes each morning very early.
Thank you.
He didn't believe us.
Of course he did. He just tried to impress me. You were marvelous, Charles. Thank you.
What now?
Now we wait.
Yeah, there's no place better on a sunny afternoon than right here. Just so long as I know it's my wife.
Good Lord, it's Sarah Wills. Get the wagon, hurry.
Nice, cheerful place you have here, Lynch. Very fashionable. It's like something out of an insane asylum. Yes, you do have the taste of a connoisseur. The taste of a man who truly knows what is obscene, vulgar, erotic, and simply grotesque. It's very clever the way everything blends together. How things seem to balance. Not one piece out of place. Not 1 inch of space wasted. It's truly remarkable. I am impressed. Lynch, you're such an ugly man.
What's wrong, Captain? All your cells empty this morning?
Oh, on the contrary. As a matter of fact, some friends of yours were kind enough to spend the night with me.
I don't have any friends.
Oh, but you do. There's Simon Burke and Harry Morris, and not to mention Jim Turner, and that other fellow, the little one with the hunchback.
Were they drunk?
Very. You see, they started a brawl in the tap in the sawmill. You do know the place.
Vaguely. But what does 4 drunks have to do with me, huh?
You see, the fight was over which one of them was going to pay for the entire bill, which was quite substantial. Your friend's drink, you know.
You still haven't answered my question, Captain.
Oh, haven't I?
No.
Well, let me put it this way. Where do 4 such men come upon enough money for each of them to be able to pay for himself and the other 3?
Maybe they earned it.
Maybe, but doing what? Simon and Harry, they can't earn much. After all, how many hangings do we have?
Not enough to suit you, Captain.
Lynch, you disappoint me. I don't pass sentence on anyone. I only arrest them. Drinking alone?
No, he wasn't. Are you in the mood, Captain?
2 of those men work for you, and I can't see you paying anyone enough to buy a decent dinner, let alone a night's drinking for 4 men.
All right, Captain. I wouldn't. Maybe they found other work. Something that pays a police captain's wages.
I'm not laughing, Lynch. Just tell me what kind of work they do for you, since you have no legitimate business. Oh, I know you're a banker of sorts, loaning out money at exorbitant rates of interest. But you're hired help. What?
They're collectors. They collect money for me.
Yes, I'm sure they do. Well, I'll leave you to your whatever a man like you calls it.
The same thing a man like you calls it.
One day, Lynch, you're going to tell me the wrong thing at the right time.
It's useless, Tanya. You won't find the solution there. There isn't one anywhere.
I have the solution, Charles. I'm only looking for a way to make it happen. Will you help me?
If I can.
Will you help me?
I cannot commit myself until I know what you consider the solution.
Another creature.
Tanya, it took your father and me 3 years to construct the first one.
Mine will take less than 3 weeks.
Even if it took 3 hours, it would be too late.
Then there's been another killing.
2. I didn't want to tell you. I was in town today. Everyone in the village is speaking about the monster. That is what they call your father's life's work, a monster, and they're right.
They are not right! My father was a genius, and his creation will...
It will do nothing but kill. You don't understand. Even without the damage to the brain, the creature has the mind of a murderer. It kills for the sake of killing. It must be destroyed. And Harris will destroy it.
How can a man destroy it? No, Charles. There's only one solution. To create a second creature.
You'll be creating another monster?
Not a monster. An executioner. Our creature will kill my father's murderer.
No, it's impossible. Even if you found the right brain, your creature, despite the superhuman strength induced by the lightning, it would need a physical body strong enough to support it. Where would you find such a man?
And that's my proposition. 500 pounds if you find me the right person.
Yeah, well, what makes you think I can?
My father told me. It's all written in his diary. He gave you a lot of money in the 3 years.
I don't want money from you.
I see.
I knew you would. Just for one night. Then I'll find you your man. It won't cost you a thing.
It will. I feel nothing but repulsion for you.
I don't give a damn how you feel about me. It ain't your feelings I want.
Your price is too high.
Then go peddle your money elsewhere.
I think Captain Harris would find my father's diary very enlightening.
My selling corpses wouldn't surprise anyone. But your father buying them, now that would give everybody plenty to talk about, eh? Wouldn't it, miss? Now, think about it. No one else can help you. No one. After all, what's one night out of your life? It can't kill you. And after, you can take a bath and everything will be brand new again.
I'll kill him. I'll kill him!
You need a drink, Charles. I don't see why you're so upset. A man like Lynch cannot be taken seriously.
Still, I would kill him for even suggesting that
Thank you, Charles. I didn't know that you felt so much about my reputation. I'm sorry. Of course you do. You are a gentleman. And so you only think of me as untouchable.
You're wrong.
Am I? Do you ever think of touching me?
Tanya, please.
Does it really bother you to know that a man like Lynch desires me?
No. Only that he was vulgar enough to reveal it to you.
You never really believed in my father's dream. You only stayed because of me.
What if I did?
Then why didn't you tell me? Because you were afraid. You've always been afraid. You are afraid now. We don't need Lynch. All we need is each other. I found him. Thomas.
Thomas?
Yes, Thomas. Physically, he's perfect. His body's strong and beautiful. Be honest, wouldn't you like to have such a body?
What does that have to do with me?
Everything, because you love me. I know you do. But you've never done anything about it. Instead of your love for me giving you strength, you let it melt your spine.
Stop
You
it.
let it fester inside of you until
No.
all you could do was to look at me with those weird, hurt eyes. With the eyes of an old man. With the eyes of a cripple who could never even dream that I could love him.
Could you love me?
Yes. If you look like Thomas.
Then love Thomas!
I can't love Thomas. He hasn't your mind. Think of it. Think of me. Think of possessing me. Would you like to have my body bend to you? Would you like to make love to me?
Yes. Yes. Yes!
You can. I can make it possible.
My brain and my heart in Thomas's body.
His heart is as gentle as yours. Thomas, with your brain, there's a man I could truly love.
No. I won't kill Thomas for you. I'm not a murderer.
You were ready to kill Lynch.
That was different.
Murder is murder. Do it, Charles. I'll help you. I'll be your wife. I'll give you everything.
Go.
You tell me.
Do you like it?
Yes, very much.
I've had that ring for a long time. I'd never dared hope to see you wearing it.
Good morning, Charles. Don't think of Thomas now. Think of him after. The way he will be.
In here. Come. In here. He's in there. It's a terrible sight. Isn't it a terrible sight? Oh, terrible. It's a terrible sight. Blood in my life. I'm here. I don't want to know.
Lynch, you cheated me.
Tom Lynch is dead.
Last night. Killed by the same man who murdered your father. And Lynch wasn't robbed either, Miss Frankenstein.
It's Mrs. Marshall now.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And this man, anyone seen him? Anyone still alive?
The young man who was with Sarah Wills, John Masters.
And this Mr. Masters, what did he see?
He claims it wasn't a man. He said it was a monster. But he was too frightened to satisfy me. However, there's one more witness I would believe.
Who is he?
Seth Atkins' son. He saw the murderer kill his mother. But the lad's in shock. If and when I'm ever able to talk to him,
That poor boy.
sorry to bother you, Mrs. Marshall.
I'll see you out, Captain.
Thank you. You know, I've been wondering, Mrs. Marshall, why would you visit Tom Lynch, especially at his place, and at night?
The Baron owed him money, and my wife went to pay it back.
Wouldn't it have been better to send for him?
Really, Captain? A man like Lynch here?
Of course. But then I would think Dr. Marshall should have gone, not you.
It was my father's business which made it mine. Nobody else's.
Quite. What I don't understand is why would your father owe Lynch money?
I find your probing thoroughly impertinent.
It always is. Thank you again, and good night. Oh, one thing more. You don't believe in monsters, do you?
Of course not.
I do.
Wait till we've finished.
You're worse than Lynch was. Hey, Jim, you sure Dr. Marshall will want it?
Am I sure? Sure, I'm sure. Whatever the Baron was doing with the corpses, Dr. Marshall was helping him. So it must be sure that he's still doing what they were doing. He'll thank us good.
To hell with his thanks.
He'll thank us good.
Money, as long as he pays us good. Come on, this ain't my favorite way to make a living.
Hey, I ain't gonna...
Shh, Jim, shut up. Listen.
I don't hear nothing.
Found them, Captain. I was here early, like always. I keep a clean place, you know. I always clean it every morning when I come.
I see. Thank you very much, Mr. Stone.
Clean it up. Yes, sir. I always try to keep a clean place. That's what I
Yes,
keep.
I understand.
A nice, quiet place.
Thank you very much.
Great
That'll be
promise.
all.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's beginning to make a lot of sense. Get those shovels. Dig it up. Then dig up every one of them dated within the last 2 months.
Just what do you expect to find, sir?
Not a damn thing.
Oh, no, Thomas. I wasn't laughing at you. Don't be mad at me.
No, not mad. Never mad at you.
Well, that's very kind of you. Come here, I'll help you. There.
I will do it.
On the chair. There. That's better, isn't it? Sit down, Thomas. Sit down. That's it. You actually do understand what's going on, don't you? You're beautiful. May I help you, young lady?
Oh, good day. I'm looking for my brother.
Your brother? You must have the
Tommy.
wrong...
Thomas Stack.
Ah, he's not here. Have you tried at his home?
I went there first.
I've not seen him for a few days. Perhaps he's gone on a trip.
Tommy? Where would he be? He was never out of the county.
It's possible. Perhaps my father's death had something to do with it.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Yes, Thomas was very fond of him, and his death must have shocked him.
Oh, yes, perhaps.
I'm really sorry, but I can't help you. I'm sure Tommy will be here soon. Are you living at the inn?
I shall be.
Ah, fine. I'll tell him. He'll be so happy to see you.
Thank you,
Mrs. Marshall.
I'm so sorry to trouble you, Mrs. Marshall.
Oh, no trouble. We're all very fond of your brother.
I'm sure you are. Good day.
Tonight, you and I will help Thomas to become a whole human being. And my father, he will live again, but with the fame he was meant to have. Charles?
I liked him, Tanya. I really did.
Think of tonight, Charles. Only of tonight.
People are talking. They're saying that Baron Frankenstein is responsible. They're saying that he created that monster.
It killed him, remember?
But it didn't kill his daughter.
What does she have to do with it?
Well, you know how people are, Captain, especially when they're scared. Right now, they're so scared they may do anything. Just anything. Something real crazy, maybe. To them, the name Frankenstein is 6 leagues below Satan himself. And they don't care who's wearing it. Come on, John.
What's wrong? You can't change your mind now. It's too late, Tanya. I killed Thomas. You've got to make the means justify the end, for my sake.
What if I fail? Charles,
Then you fail. I'd rather give my life to you than to the hangman. Is everything clear? No questions?
No questions.
Remember that I love you.
I'll remember.
Now smile for me. That's the last thing I want to see. Thank you. Now begin.
I do not appreciate your intrusions, Captain.
I'm trying to find your father's murder, Mrs. Marshall, and I don't see how that could be an intrusion.
Of course you're right. Please forgive me. I've been up all night with my husband.
Then he's seriously ill.
It could be. He's resting now, and after my breakfast, so will I. Have you made any progress, Captain?
Not much, but the murderer has. 2 more men have been killed, Jim Turner and Bill Jessup. They worked for Lynch. Oh, you wouldn't know them. They're not exactly the kind you'd invite to tea.
Everything is ready, my darling. Do not be afraid. Soon we'll be together again. Soon. They all rejected my father's life's work. Now they'll see. I can't hear you, darling. I can't. You're alive. I'm here. darling.
It's true, Julia. I've seen it.
And you think that Tommy is somehow involved with this monster?
Well, not in creating it, but I think he found out about it by chance.
And Mrs. Marshall? She's part of it, too?
Yes, she's lied too many times not to be.
Then she and Dr. Marshall, they would have to kill Tommy, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they?
Maybe not. Who would believe Tommy?
I would. You would too, Paul.
Damned if he isn't headed straight for the Frankenstein estate. Let's go, John.
When I remove the stitches and your hair grows back, no one will see the difference. In the meantime, this wig will do perfectly. Now, Charles, put your hands like this. When I release the paper, you try to catch it between your hands before it reaches the floor. But you must look into my eyes. Bravo, Charles. Reflex is perfect, pulse normal. Everything is normal. How could I possibly know our storm would come in time?
Of course you couldn't.
One thing more, Charles. You see that heavy table over there?
That one?
Go and lift it. Go on, Charles. Lift it.
All my life I've wanted to do something like that.
You can now, Charles. You're a young man again. Handsome, strong, intelligent, and beautiful man.
Mrs. Marshall! Mrs. Marshall!
What is it?
It's Captain Harris. I insist on seeing you.
You must see him, Tanya. He'll just keep on coming back. Come on, go and see him. Hurry. Go.
I must see Dr. Marshall.
Impossibly. Still extremely ill. I cannot permit.
I'm not asking your permission.
Really, Captain Harris, this is a...
Yes, it is, Mrs.
I shall
Marshall.
report you to your superiors.
You do that.
Please leave my home.
Not until I see your husband.
Really, you have no right, Captain Harris. My husband is very ill.
That's far enough, Captain.
I'm sorry, Captain, but my illness is quite contagious. You shouldn't risk coming any closer.
I want to speak to you alone.
Whatever you have to say, I want my wife to hear it.
Very well. I came to warn you about the monster that you and Baron Frankenstein created. I hold you responsible in the deaths of 8 people, including the Baron.
Of course you can prove it.
If I could, I would be here to arrest you. I know that you are my proof. I want you alive, Doctor.
Why should anyone want to kill my husband?
Not anyone. Only the monster he helped to create. Of those killed, 4 were responsible for giving it life. You, Doctor, are the 5th and last.
That's absurd, Captain. How could Lynch and those other 2
By
men...
providing your father and your husband with corpses. I don't have to tell you how they were used.
How else are we to know what you are talking about?
Those jars in the laboratory, it won't be difficult to prove they contain human organs and not animal. No, Doctor. You never considered the creature might not appreciate your miracle. That's why he killed the Baron, the 3 other men. That's why he must kill you.
Why didn't he kill Charles when he killed my father?
Because your husband wasn't in the laboratory at the time.
This is the most extraordinary fable I've ever heard. You really disappoint me, Captain. A robber killed the Baron. As for those other 2 pyramids of integrity, anyone could have had sufficient reason to kill them. Perhaps it's your incompetence that's led your imagination awry. I suggest you take a
Very well. I've warned you. Remember, lies can't keep you alive, Doctor. But I can.
Your concern is a great comfort to me. Good night, Captain.
I don't know what you've done with Thomas, but I'll find out. And when I...
We must get away tonight, Charles.
No, Tanya.
But, darling, Harris and his men will find the monster. They'll destroy it.
They don't know how. I do.
Every available man, Peter. I want this place surrounded. And make sure the men tell no one, especially their wives. Now hurry.
Yes, sir.
You don't know where to look.
It'll find me. Tonight. Tonight it will be here.
Charles. Wait, Charles! You don't have to kill it. He thinks he just killed you. It's finished. We can control it. It doesn't have to kill again. We can show the world that my father didn't fail. That he wasn't insane. Think of us, Charles. The power. The fame.
No! I must kill it!
Yes, you're right. Kill it.
Why did you change your mind, Tanya? Because you know that no matter which of us survives, you still win? You do know. You've always known.
Your voice, Charles!
It's Captain Harris. See if he's dead. Just unconscious. All right, let him sleep it off. Let's go!
Oh, you love me. You love me. Me. I belong to you. Yes, Thomas. My love.
Too late, Captain.
Get him out of here! Get him out! All right, let's go. Julia,
Tommy,
what are
maybe
you doing
he's there.
here? You've got to get out of here. I told you to stay out.
Good evening. I am Arachne of the Spider People, your hostess with the mostess. And welcome to Beware Theater, because this be where you're gonna see some really bad movies. We've got monsters, aliens, vampires, werewolves, and of course, the undead. So take a load off, pull up a couch, and fasten your seatbelt. It's gonna be a creepy night. Tonight, we watch 1958 horror movie classic, I Bury the Living. This movie was low budget, made in only 9 days, and was directed by Albert Band, and starred TV Western heartthrob Richard Boone and international folk singer and actor Theodore Bikel. This movie had a slow start, however, and was out of circulation for a while. But once it started playing on TV, it was an instant cult classic. It has creepy music and a film noir feel. This movie was about a well-intentioned man from an influential family in New England who had to take a turn at managing the local cemetery. All he had to do was show up once a week, sign some checks. That was it. How hard could that be? Well, when it becomes apparent that the office supplies are taking over the powers of life and death, and some of his friends start dying, he loses touch with reality and thinks he's at fault for her death. Too bad nobody believed him. This movie has a creepy cemetery, a crotchety cemetery caretaker, supernatural powers, and a malevolent map. It's creepy, it's weird, and it's got an ending you're either gonna love or hate. So now we watch I Bury the Living.
the immortal hills.
Thank you.
So, by way of making you feel right at home, Bobby, Mr. Chairman. Come along, sir.
After you. This is your place now, you know. Of course. It isn't as if you was any stranger here, Bob.
Yes, but somehow this place all looks different to me. Like I never saw it before. Well, maybe I never had to. It's cold as an icebox in here.
Oh, that thing hasn't worked in years. Cement holds the wet, you know, makes the air a wee bit Christmassy. Won't bother you none once you get down to work.
I'm not sworn in yet.
Oh, that's only for show, sir. Now, let me see if I got the list of committee men right. First, Chairman Robert Kraft. Yourself. Now, Mr. Honiger, Treasurer, your Uncle George, Secretary, and of course Mr. Trowbridge and Mr. Bates. Making 5 in all, right?
Right.
If you can find me at any time, my dwelling straight across the boulevard, opposite the gate. Makes it nice, living so close to my work. Now, would you like to see the sights, sir? Give the roof a chance to catch the heat.
Mm-hmm.
If you care to make a tour, it's a bit warmer outside.
That's quite a map.
Oh, yes, sir. That's a map of the entire cemetery, down to the weeest speck of dust. Here we are, and here's my shed with the row stone, and there's the gate you come in.
Certainly kept it up to date. There's a new mausoleum on there already.
Aye. Oh, yes, sir. This map's going to be a big help to you, Bobby. Suppose you got a customer and you want to know what ground we can show him. This is where the map comes in. One look and quick as a wink, you know who's where and what's what. It's them pins that makes it so easy. The black ones stand for the ones that is already there, and the white ones for them as has made their arrangements for the future. Now, for example, here's my place. Lovely, isn't she, Bob? There. Sun in the morning, but gets those trees to give shade in the afternoon heat.
McKee, you've been on this job now...
To give shade in the afternoon heat.
McKee, you've been on this job now 40 years, right?
Aye.
Well, I guess the committee's right. It's high time we retired you. Nothing to worry about. Full pension. You draw the same check every month.
I'm to be paid for nothing from now on?
No, you're to be paid for 40 years of devotion. And that's something. Anyone in mind to replace you?
Oh, I hadn't given it much thought, sir, but, there must be plenty of young and hard-muscled toffs would give the right teeth for my shoes. It's a lovely place to work. You're outside, near Mother Air.
Well, let me know if you find somebody.
Oh, I will.
Yes, sir, that's quite a map.
Pardon me, sir. I just wanted to show you where we keep this in case of emergencies. No need to worry, though. We haven't had none yet. Oh, you expecting visitors, sir?
No, but that sounds like Stu Drexel.
Oh, aye. Drexel and Pretty Beth Ferris. Did I hear they was promised?
Looks like they're hitched.
She finally caught me, Bob.
Bethy, many happy returns of the day. Stu, that's a great place you picked for a honeymoon.
Oh, marriage has made me conservative. How about it, Mrs. D? Can I carry you over the threshold?
I still don't think it's so very funny. I think it's positively awful if you really want to know the truth.
Oh, Bethy, don't be that way.
What's the trouble?
How would you like to get a cemetery plot for a wedding gift?
Now, Bethy, you know Pop never meant it for a present. It's just a formal, legal sort of thing. You see, Dad left part of my inheritance in trust for when I got married. One of the provisions was that myself and my wife had first-class accommodations here at the Immortal Hills. Doesn't cost us a cent, but we have to buy the plots before the bank will let me have the cash. You know, Dad, he never did consider me much on responsibility.
He was a very smart man.
Oh, aye, that he was. And though a bonny bride should have her thoughts far from doom, it's a lucky girl whose father-in-law provides from the beyond for her future.
Isn't he sweet?
Thanks, Scotty. Bob, give us a couple near the old man, will you? And call up Owens at the bank in the morning so I can cash a check.
I don't think it's funny at all.
From the last administration, sir. Folks get a wee bit rocky when they come out here sometimes. Best to be prepared. Down the hatch.
Thank you.
Oh, over here. That's where the Drexel bunch is. It'll get so you'll love it out here, Bobby. It's a fine and green and lovely place. A fine place to slip away from the cares of the world. Slip away and live a wee bit.
As retiring chairman of the Immortal Hills Cemetery Management Committee,
George, I haven't got...
it is now my very great pleasure to announce the appointment of Robert Kraft, president of Kraft's department.
Now, George, don't shush me. You railroaded me into this.
Now, wait a minute, Bob. It's your turn. Last year was his turn. The year before it was mine. Nobody refuses to take the chairmanship. Partners, Henry.
President of Kraft's department store.
Why?
Nobody ever has. It's just not done, son.
Well, can you give me one good reason why I should take over the management of a whole big cemetery when I'm up to my neck in my own business?
As retiring...
Hold it. Of course I can. Tradition. Particularly for us Crafts. You always harp on dignity, honor, prestige. Well, how do you think we got it? Because your great-grandfather, your grandfather, and your father served on every community project, board, and committee that was ever created. They served for free, but they did it for business. That's what a fine family has to do in this town. And you can't refuse to do it without losing a lot of respect from our customers.
And another thing, it's just not done.
Well, pass me over till next year. I'm up to my ears.
Bob, do you realize you're talking about only a few hours a month at the most? McKee, the caretaker, handles everything. All you do is show up once a week and sign the checks.
It's getting late, George.
Proceed, Henry.
Raise your right hand.
Well, what about Bill Honegger?
Raise your right hand. Do you, Robert Kraft, swear to discharge the duties and responsibilities of this office faithfully and completely to the utmost of your abilities?
I do.
Congratulations, Bob.
Thanks, Mrs. Trowbridge. Thank you, Uncle George.
Okay, Miss Lane, you can put through his calls now.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. I'll ring him for you now.
Hello. There's a guy named Watson on the phone. Says it's urgent. You know him?
Of Olds and Watson? Olds and Watson, you know.
Oh, the Undertaker. Swell. Hello. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Watson. I'll do the best job I can. Yes, sir. Oh, you're kidding. Well, sir, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it myself. I'll be there within an hour. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, what about this ad?
Have to wait. I'm sorry.
Well, now, call McKee. You don't have to go up there every time.
This is different.
Somebody prominent?
Stu Drexel and his wife.
Stu and Betsy. No.
Hi. Hi, Jess. McKee, this is Mr. Jessup of the Milford Herald.
Hi, Jessup. Oh, the west slope between the Pattersons and the Fenleys.
What else is new?
You were my big news for the day. Asked about plans for the coming year, Kraft revealed the Immortal Hills will install a drive-in bar to stimulate additional trade. I'm stuck with the obituary detail. Boy, it's cold in here.
McKee, let's get that heat on that letter tomorrow. We better get ready for the interment.
Aye, that'll be done, sir.
And you better change the Drexel pins. Black instead of white.
Oh, they already got black pins, sir.
Oh, who changed them?
Well, now, the last I remember was the very day they come out here to give you the order, and you stuck in 2 pins.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Must have picked up the wrong color. Well, nothing. It's just a little weird, that's all.
What?
Well, the kids came out here right after they tied the knot. They bought a couple of plots. Stu was complying with some technicality in his trust. And it was all very cute. We had a couple of laughs. And afterwards, I jabbed 2 pins in the map, white pins, I thought, just to make it official. And I hear today they've been killed. And the maps had them on the blacklist all the time.
Okay, so what?
Well, nothing. It just made me feel a little eerie, that's all.
I think he means he marked the young couple for death, sir.
Yeah, I guess that was it. It must have been the feeling I had. Well, it's funny what'll go through a guy's mind, isn't it?
Do me a favor, McKee. If he starts fooling around with those pins again, be sure he stays away from the west slope, between the Pattersons and the Finleys.
Indeed, I will, sir.
Hi, Annie. What are you doing out here?
I had a luncheon date, but I was stood up.
I know a nice little place down the street.
I just might take you up on that.
I won't hold my breath.
George told me about Beth and Stuart. I just had to see you. Made me think how lucky we are just to be alive and together.
Oh, Ann, this is Mr. McKee. This is Miss Craig, my fiancée, Andy.
How do you do?
Miss, would you be wanting me for anything else, Bobby?
No, thanks, Andy.
Bob. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. I'm just a little depressed, that's all, but you'll take care of that. Ann, I kept wishing we could keep our appointment.
Oh, rendezvous, if you don't mind. Your gray flannel is showing. Actually, do you know what made me turn around and come here instead of going home? Well, I was driving along, feeling rejected. And then all of a sudden I saw you very clearly in my mind. Bob, it's just that you're too attractive. After all, president of a department store and in charge of the Immortal Hills.
Irresistible.
I saw you and I heard you. Lunchtime, Annie. That's what you said distinctly.
Lunchtime, Annie. Well, I can do better than that, I hope.
Oh, you did. You said, I want you. And I need you, and a whole lot of lovely things I'd be embarrassed to repeat.
Yeah. You know, just about the time you were seeing me, I had you on my mind.
That's amazing.
No, I mean it. And I don't blame you for not wanting to repeat what I was thinking.
We better go to lunch or get married. Or I can just as easily join Jess at that little spot down the road he spoke of.
We regret the management does not permit exchanges once the merchandise has been purchased.
Then I'll freshen up.
Immortal Hills Craft. Hi, Carl. No, terrible. No, I'm sorry. The funeral's been confined to the immediate family. Yeah, all right, Carl. I'll see you later.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
What?
You're right. We are lucky to be alive. Be with each other. Come on.
Do you believe in the paranormal powers of the mind? Can a person condemn another person to death by putting a pin in a map? Can two people see and think the same thing at the same time? If this sounds like a Twilight Zone episode from the TV series back in the 50s and 60s, you're almost correct. But this mind-bending story made it to the big screen and told pretty much the same kind of story. So Bob Kraft gets roped into a rich person's nightmare. He has to chair a committee that oversees a cemetery for free. But Bob has a worse problem. He thinks he's responsible for his friend's death because he stuck a black pin in a map. So does Bob dismiss this as coincidence like his friends suggest? No. Bob decides he's going to do a test where at random he's going to stick a black pin in that map, and whoever's plot that is, as the person he doesn't know, if that person drops dead, then he'll know it's his fault. Bob, that poor little doll maker that owned that cemetery plot, did drop dead. So I think your test was successful, and I would suggest that you leave the cemetery and go back to running your department store if you know what's good for you. And no, Deadly, stop. No, this is not a Twilight Zone episode, even though it looks like it.
Bobby! Bobby, I've got a surprise.
Found your replacement.
Oh, well, no, not yet. But I'm scouting the countryside. This is far sweeter. This is what I call getting things done.
Gee, you should have been an executive.
Fairly quiet this week. Only one passing. Now, if you'll just sign these.
Let's get rid of these flowers.
Oh, aye, they smell a wee bit sickly. I was hoping to keep them for the burial this afternoon.
We need much help?
Oh, no, this is just an average funeral. They don't come like the Drexel doings every day, thank the Lord.
McKee, this bill for W. Asham. What's it for?
Well, he's the lad for this afternoon, Bobby. Oh, and I need to look so sad. Willisham was the same age lad as me. Oh, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. Mighty queer it strikes me, Bob. I went to the map just after we got the news. They changed Willisham's pin to black. It was already black. Looks like there might be something creepy up with that map. Changing pin colors without human assistance, no less.
I changed Mr. Isom's pin, Andy.
But, Bob, you haven't been here since he died.
Just a please. I know, I changed his pin before he died, not a... Jess, it's Bob Kraft. Can you come over here right away? No, I'm at the cemetery.
That map's nothing but an old piece of paper hanging on the wall. All you do when you stick pins in it is to make holes in the paper. White pins, black pins, safety pins. It doesn't make any difference, see? Well, look, it's unfortunate that it worked out this way, but coincidence is a part of everyday life. Some are funny, some are pretty odd, but this one isn't even good enough to make the back page of the shopping news. That's all it is, Bob, coincidence.
Yeah. You're right, Jess. Thanks.
That's okay. Sometime when I've tied on a real headbender, you can do the same for me. What's your trouble?
Well, nothing, but I've been through all this before. The grass, and the quiet, and that sound. I never knew what it was. It's the sound of a name being cut into a headstone.
Yeah, I've heard of people who thought they'd been through the same bit before in their dreams. I think it's even happened to me.
What would you say if I told you this happens to me regularly? Ever since I was a child. Sometimes as often as every other week.
I'd say you were sensitive or exaggerating.
I'm going to call Bates and Honegger and Trowbridge right now and tell them I'm quitting. Don't worry, George. Nothing drastic will happen to the store. My mind's made up.
You mean mixed up. I've lived in Milford all my life, and I can't remember any man who ever let that place get the better of him. Why, when I was chairman, I'll bet I stuck the wrong colored pins in that thing 12 times. If I ran out of one color, I used the other. You've only been down there a couple of times.
George, I put black pins in the map for the Drexel couple the day they were killed. Now, I didn't think anything of it at the time. And then I took a white pin out of the map quite at random, and I put a black pin in its place, And today I find out the old man it belonged to died during the week.
Bob, that's terrible. For heaven's sake, Bob, everybody loves a ghost story. Where's your sense of humor? You don't really believe that stuff you're telling me, do you?
No. But I still think I may be learning something about myself. Where are you going?
Oh, I think I'll just take a run out to the cemetery.
What for?
Sounds like it might be fun. After all, I've been trying to find some way to wipe out our competition for years.
Good night, George.
Want to take my car?
All right.
Well, the place hasn't changed a bit since I was chairman. 2 more pins in the map.
Black ones.
White ones, too. Sit down and relax, Bob. I think I can get this whole thing cleared up for you.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to convince you that there's nothing out here for you to worry about.
George, let's forget this.
Bob, I said I'm just going to convince you.
Well, George, suppose you took Henry Trowbridge's white pin out and put a black one in its place, and tomorrow morning he turned up dead.
It's not a chance.
Well, I know not a chance, but suppose by some weird coincidence it happened. Now, it's happened to me 3 times already.
I deal strictly in facts, son. I don't go for this coincidence bunk. But if Henry Trowbridge even looks a little peaked tomorrow, you can resign and I'll back you up. Now, Henry Trowbridge, let me see if I remember.
George, I just mentioned Henry as an example. Now, you're not going to use him.
Well, Henry's as good a choice as anybody, considering he directly preceded you as committee chairman.
Wait a minute, George. You better let me put the pin in. If you do the honors and nothing happens, it won't be quite as conclusive.
By all means, let's not diverge from the established pattern. But I'll have you know I was no slouch when it came to pinning the tail on the donkey when I was a kid. No reflection on Henry. Go ahead, Bob.
Call Henry and tell him what we did.
He'd only think we were kidding.
No, he'd believe you.
Then he'd call my physician, and he'd reserve a nice quiet room for me at Providence Hospital. Let's keep this quiet, my boy. Henry can't complain. After all, if his term had run a week or so longer, he might be having the willies instead of you.
Hello, Miss Trowbridge. This is Bob Kraft. What are you doing up so late? Nothing serious. I just meant to call Henry earlier and it slipped my mind. Put him on, will you? Or if he's watching the movie and enjoying it, ask him to call me back during the commercial.
No, Bob, just hold on and I'll get him. He's upstairs reading in bed, but I'm sure he's not asleep.
Well, I hate to disturb him.
You just hold the wire, Bob.
Henry?
He's not breathing, Bob. I've got to call a doctor.
I understand. I'll hang up right away. I'm terribly sorry.
Wait here. This won't take long. Morning.
How do you do, sir?
Well, I don't understand it. Jess said he'd be here in 20 minutes. Lieutenant Claiborne?
So that's it, huh? Sure big enough. There are the black pins, eh?
We're particularly concerned with these four. Isham, and the Drexel couple, and now Trowbridge.
Let me get this straight, Mr. Kraft. You say that every time you stick a black pin in the map, people turn up dead?
That's right. Well, go ahead, Lieutenant. You think I'm a crackpot, and I hope you're right. I just want to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt.
Stewart and Elizabeth Drexel, DOA, Emergency Receiving Hospital, result of highway collision. William Isham, cause of death, cerebral hemorrhage. Henry Trowbridge, coronary thrombosis. Well, the rule is this. Where no evidence of homicide exists on initial investigation, the matter will be dropped. Investigated and found nothing. Sorry. Jessup?
What's new, or should I say real?
Nothing like murder, if that's what you're after.
I'm sorry Bob saw fit to disturb you, Lieutenant.
No harm done. What do you make of it, Jess?
I keep telling him it's just coincidence.
Yeah. If I were you, Mr. Kraft, I'd take a week or two off. Take it easy. You'll forget all about it. If you're going to use the story, kindly refrain from mentioning my name.
I know. Lieutenant Claiborne, with an E on the end.
Boy, I think 4 deaths could appear so flimsy to a policeman.
You never should have called the police. Claiborne's one of the best. Any other guy might have looked for a big, heavy book to throw at you.
Yeah, you're right. On the other hand, maybe that thing's dangerous. Really dangerous. Or maybe the element of danger is in a man. In me.
Bob.
Is there something different about me, Jess? I'm really beginning to wonder.
Hey, buddy. If there is anything to this map bit, don't go blaming it on nameless forces. Maybe somebody's trying to scare you. Could be you got an enemy or two.
Coincidence? Deja vu? Voodoo? Whatever it is, apparently Bob has had some weird psychic events ever since he was a little boy. And now when he tells his Uncle George that he thinks he's killing these people by putting black pins in a map, Uncle George laughs in his face. Even worse, he makes him go back to the cemetery and put a black pin in the cemetery plot of his main competitor. And then he laughs it off and said, if the guy looks ill tomorrow, you can quit. Well, not only does the guy look ill tomorrow, he croaked overnight. Bob, stop putting pins in the map. You're killing people. But Bob already knows that. And his guilt makes him call the cops to confess that he's killing all these people by putting pins in the map. But the cops don't believe him because, well, there's no evidence of homicide. Just death by natural causes or an accident. So who's really killing these people? Is it a map? Is it some kind of enemy that's getting revenge on Bob? Or is it unseen forces? Stay tuned, folks, because this movie just gets weirder and weirder. And, Deadly, you want me to pick a card to solve the mystery. No, Dudley, that's not how it works. We have to wait to the end of the movie in order to see who did it. But you know, if I were going to pick a card, I'd pick this one.
Somebody using your desk, George.
He came in to keep me company, darling.
That was very sweet of him.
Oh, darling, you must be dead tired.
I'm all right.
No sleep, and then to have to go back
I'm
out
all
there
right.
again?
There's no crime in needing a good rest.
George, I've got some correspondence to take care of.
I've already taken care of your mail, and I took the liberty of making reservations for you. Flight 33, leaving for Miami at 5:45. My pal Sanford owns one of the finest hotels on the
George, thanks anyway. There's nothing I'd rather do, but I can't possibly go now.
Bob, I gave you my word. If anything happened to Henry, you could resign. I talked to Charlie and Bill Honiger, and they understand completely. It's all fixed, son.
The situation's changed. Until this thing's cleared up, I'm not about to resign.
Oh.
And when you tell the others, ask them to meet me here in my office, 7:30 tonight.
Awfully short notice.
The committee can't just ignore what's happened.
I guess you're right.
Darling.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to snap at you.
Now, why can't you resign?
Well, because possibly something real, unreal, I don't know, is waiting to kill one of us every time I jab a black pin into that map.
Bob, if you're talking about Henry Trowbridge, the poor man died of a heart attack. Heart disease is the country's #1 killer.
Maybe not in Milford.
Oh, Bob, you can't mean that map is literally killing people?
No, Ann, maybe it isn't the map.
Well...
What about the other day? You saw me, you heard me. Lunchtime, Annie, I want you, I need you.
Bob, I was obviously trying to bring a little romance into our very dull and dismal lives.
No, Ann, don't try to deny it.
I
now.
do deny it. Bob, I love you. I'm not in any sort of occult thrall to you. Hey, can't you take a joke? All right, then I was lying too. Does that bring you back to reality again? Bob, I think we better take advantage of those plane tickets. George's Mr. Sanford's could be best man.
The offer's awfully attractive.
I love you so much.
And if you're going to cry, do it someplace else.
Now, Bob, it's real simple. We're willing to play ball with you. If you want to remain chairman of this committee, we wouldn't think of trying to dissuade you. Because we have confidence in you. Full confidence.
All the confidence in the world, Bob.
Now, all we want before we break this up is a promise from you, Mr. Chairman, that before you turn in tonight, you'll go out to the cemetery. Now, let me finish. You'll go out there and change my white pen to black. Charlie's and George's. Just as simple as that. And then go home and go right to bed.
No, sir.
You're not the committee, Bob. You're only our chairman, with the duty to carry out the will of the majority. We feel that you should do as Bill said, because it'll put an end to this business once and for all. Otherwise, we'll do the resigning right here and now.
Well, let me sleep on it. Let's all sleep on it. I don't think you people realize what might be involved here.
Motion defeated. Tonight.
Well, your devotion to the principle of majority rule moves me deeply. Okay. And good night. Charlie. Here goes nothing, Uncle George. Who is it?
It's me, Bobby. Open up.
I seen your car lights from my window driving through the gate, so I come running.
You needn't have bothered McKee. You put in a full day already. Now, I'll see you tomorrow.
No. Bobby, please. Bobby, listen. When you locked and bolted this place, I said to myself, now there's a man who knows his business. That's what I said. He may not know everything, what's behind it, but he knows when a thing's to be fooled with and when it's to be left alone. There's nothing to fear with a man like Bobby Kraft at the tiller. That's what I said.
Well, that's fine now. You run along home and don't worry about a thing. Nothing's going to happen to you.
No. Please. Bobby, lock this door again and send yourself home. Or else, who can answer for what may happen to the whole miserable lot of us?
It'll have to be open sometime. If I don't do it, they'll get somebody who will. Good night, Andy. Good night. Andy, go home. What do you want, Jess?
Bob? Why didn't you answer me? I've been looking all over town for you. I'm calling from your place now. What are you doing at the cottage again? Haven't you had enough for one day?
Jess, I think I've done something terribly wrong.
Mother Pete, what are you talking about?
Well, we had a meeting of the cemetery committee after closing tonight. Bill Honegger, Charlie Bates, and George, everybody. And they voted to make me come out here to the cemetery and stick black pins in the map for each of them. Just like it was some kid's nightmare. So I did it. Jess, there's a black pin in that map for Charlie Bates and Bill Honegger and George. And if anything happens to them, to any of them, it's my fault, nobody else's.
Nothing's going to happen to them, Bob. As a matter of fact, I think they did you a big favor. I've never heard of a coincidence involving 3 people dying all at once. By tomorrow at this time, this whole big worry of yours will do nothing but a lot of hot air.
Well, I hope you're right, Jess. I guess there's nothing for me to do but see this thing through.
I think I'll check on him myself and see... Bob? Bob? Honegger, Bates, and George.
Lieutenant Claiborne, please.
Homicide. This is Homicide Sergeant Gray.
Lieutenant Claiborne, please.
I'm here. I take a message.
Sergeant, this is Bob Kraft, Kraft's department store.
Oh, sure. Oh, wait a second. Put a second on check. Mr. Kraft, are you calling on police matters or just something personal?
Well, it's a little bit of both, Sergeant.
Drive at Adams 1311.
Thank you. Adams 1311. Adams 1311. Honiger, Adams 1311. Adams 1. Homicide.
Yes, sir. Homicide.
This is Bob Kraft speaking. I can't get through to that Adams number.
No?
Claiborne's at that number, and it's imperative that I speak to him right now.
Well, sir, just a second, sir. I think he's reporting in on another line. They've been trying to get you, but your line's been busy. Hang up and I'll call you back right away.
Something happened to Bill Honiger. Hello.
Yes, Bob.
Jess, I'm expecting a call from Claiborne. Hang up. Call me back in 10 minutes.
Claiborne's with me.
Let me talk to him.
He's not here now.
What's wrong, Jess?
Bill Honiger's dead.
As soon as I found out, I routed Claiborne out of the sack and filled him in on the whole wild story. We were over at Honiger's in 10 minutes with 2 squad cars detailed to cover Charlie Bates and your uncle.
How did Honiger get it?
Well, he didn't. That's the trouble.
What?
Poor guy just dropped dead.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Bates? Charlie Bates?
They found him in his apartment.
Say it.
No homicide. He just stopped breathing.
George?
George, yeah. I called and told him about Honiger before I left for Claiborne's. By the time the police got there, George had already left. Well, they'll find him, Bob. Don't worry.
I'll be waiting for word about George. Let me know.
So now that Bob has permission to resign, he changes his mind. Or is he losing his mind? Even his girlfriend Ann and a free trip to a Florida resort can't persuade him to drop the pin in the map mystery. As a consequence, he's not getting much work done lately. So his partners in the cemetery committee decide to get him back on track by ordering him to put black pins in their burial places on the map. Sure, That'll prove nothing supernatural is going on here. 'Cause, well, they're not going to die from some silly little black pushpin. Are you all crazy? You just signed your death warrant. What do they say? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. And this is the place in the horror movie where the characters have no idea how much danger they're in. And it's not going to be a hairy monster that kills them this time. It's death itself. Blah. So Bob puts the black pins in the 3 plots on the map, and he spends the rest of the night staring at this evil eye looking map until it starts getting all wavy and eerie, and he just can't stand it anymore. So he calls the cops and says, expect 3 more deaths. But surprise, 2 of the 3 have dropped dead already. The 3rd one, his Uncle George, is missing. And Deadly, put that pin down. You're going to put your eye out, if you had an eye.
See, you followed our wishes to the letter. Come on. I'll drive you home before you catch pneumonia.
You 3 men made a terrible contribution to this town tonight, whether you meant to or not. I'm not going anywhere, Uncle George. I'm staying right here.
Well, I'll admit that, what with Charlie and Bill going so suddenly.
Charlie and Bill and Henry and Isham and Beth and Stu.
Stop looking at the map.
You're looking at it. I'm looking at you. We're both waiting, aren't we, Uncle George? Waiting to see if you escape.
Escape dying? Nobody escapes that, my boy.
The only question is how long. The only question is, does a man die in his own time or in the maps? So far, everyone's been forced to conform to its schedule. Everyone but you.
That puts me back on schedule. My own schedule.
If it makes you feel any better.
Let me tell you something. From now on, if you want to see me, you're going to have to come down to the store. I won't make another special trip on your account.
Next time I see you, George, we'll both be right here. Homicide.
Homicide.
This is Robert Kraft out at Immortal Hills.
Hayborn speaking.
Lieutenant, my uncle just left here. I think under the circumstances, the least you can do is put a man on to watch over him, no matter how ridiculous the situation seems to you.
Makes
a lot, Mr. Kraft. We'll take care of it right away. He's wearing an overcoat over his robe and pajamas. We put a description of the wire quite some time ago. And you do think there's danger? Sergeant, Kraft, George M. driving east on Bunker Hill. Road from destination Manor Apartments, been requested. We'll have your uncle safe and sound in 10 minutes, Mr. Kraft. You'll hear from me.
Are you sure your uncle was out there tonight? You didn't just think you saw him?
I told you he just left here.
That was 2 hours ago, and no sign of him anyplace. I put out on all points after the first hour. He's not on the road, and he's not home.
Hold the wire, Lieutenant. You better come out, Lieutenant. He's still here.
All the day, Randall, my son, where have you been all the day?
Andy!
Someone, I've been out hunting, mother. I've been out hunting, mother. Make my bed soft, mother. Make my bed soon, for I'm sick.
Andy!
Key, I'm going to burn that stuff in the greenhouse if this heater doesn't work by tonight.
Bobby, it took a whole lifetime of collecting for me to get the whole caboodle here. And see here, you haven't even touched your food. Man, you got to eat if you want to keep above the ground. Lights for me, Bobby. Of course, I can't answer for what happens after sundown.
Better wait in the car. Irresistible.
I crazy?
Completely.
I'll never change, I'm afraid.
Annie, I'll see you later.
Bob, please. I take it back.
What?
That day in the car, I did see you and I did hear you. I really did. I should never have denied it.
It's all right, Annie. I'll see you later.
You have a party named Jacob Mittel someplace on the map? M-I-T-T-E-L.
William Porter? Sure.
You know him?
Yeah. We contact the French designers through Middle. Matter of fact, he's in Paris now.
Better strike him out.
Jay?
Go ahead.
How did he die?
He isn't dead. At least not yet. I know what you're thinking, Mr. Kraft. You're thinking that we tricked you into killing Jacob Mittel. Well, you're 100% right, so try to relax, huh? This one's on the police. You see, Jacob Mittel's in the prime of life. No previous major illnesses, no record life expectancy, exceptionally good. And he's in Paris with all that ocean water to protect him from this mess. Up until now, all the deaths have been confined to the local area. If it strikes somebody on another continent, then we've really found something.
I knew I should have gotten rid of those pins 4 days ago. Even the map, the whole thing, out. What I want to know is, what are you going to tell the district attorney is responsible for these deaths?
We gave this case a real full-dress investigation, Mr. Kraft. Questioned you and all the other suspects and witnesses until the point of comedy. Found nothing. No motive, no opportunity, no suspect, no crime, no weapon. Except 7 pins went in. And the 7 people died, not 1, 7. Who put in those pins? You did, all 7. Other chairmen and so on have been putting pins in that map for years, and nothing happened.
But with me,
it isn't impossible for a certain kind of man to be endowed with powers that nobody had ever dreamed he could have. A lot of scientists claim that. Maps and pins can't kill alone. The power of a human brain has to be behind them. Like in the Indies, I guess, those voodoo dolls you hear about. Witch doctor sticks pins in the thing until the guy in question is jinxed into dying. Of course, I know he didn't mean to kill anybody. I have to get back. You'll hear from me the minute we get word.
I think I'd best be running along, too. Well, I think so.
Something in me killed them. Something in me. But I couldn't refuse the job. Not a man with my reasoning power. If I have the power of death using the black pins, then I must have the power of life using the white ones.
So when Uncle George finally realizes he might be in danger of being the next person to drop dead, he hightails it to the cemetery, yanks his black pin out of the map, and tells Bob to leave him alone. Unfortunately, it's a little too late for Uncle George. He drops dead before he can even drive off the cemetery property. George, you should have had Bob pull those pins. He's the one with all the power. Oh well. And at this point, Bob loses touch with reality. Or maybe he comes to his senses. Whatever. He gets this bright idea. If he replaces the black pins with white pins, he might be able to bring all 7 of those people that he thinks he killed back to life. Good thing he locked the windows and doors in case they crawl out of their graves and come after him. Unfortunately, Bob's not able to dwell on his plot for very long because Inspector Claiborne shows up all of a sudden and he wants to do a map test himself. Why? He can't find motive, opportunity, suspect, or weapons for any of these deaths that happen. They seem like they were just natural causes. So then he cons Bob into putting a black pin into the plot map of a perfectly healthy young man who just happens to be in France, because he wants to see if this map works like a voodoo doll. Well, I'm guessing that if the map or Bob is killing somebody by supernatural powers, distance isn't going to make any difference. So go ahead, Inspector, have Bob do your pin test. Just stand back, because this map is evil.
This is the cemetery, that's right.
This is Rosamund Middle.
Rosamund, I don't... Yes.
Can't you hear me? This is Rosamund Middle. Jaysbury.
Rosamund, yes.
Just received a cable. Can't you hear me?
You just received a cable from Paris, France.
That's right. I'll read it again.
Regret, Jacob W. Middle died in Hotel Royale. Body awaits disposition. Signed American Embassy, Paris, France.
He died there.
Died in Paris, France. Died.
Jacob W. Middle. Impossible. Impossible. He cannot be dead. But... You still think that thing's the killer? Or your own puny power, Mr. Chairman? The only power you or that map ever had was me, so far as killing goes. You marked them for death, Mr. Chairman, but who did the deed? Andrew McKee.
Oh, Andy. Why?
You and your high and mighty committee, turning out a man with 40 years of service on the grounds. 40 years.
I told you, Andy, a full pension.
It isn't cash what keeps a man going, lad. What keeps his feet on the ground and keeps him on the job till the Lord makes him quit. The Lord. And nobody else. This is my house, my lands, my activities. Aye. We come a long, dark road to put this gun to your head, Bob.
Andy, we never tried to take anything away from you.
I made sure of that. I snuck up on each one of them in turn when they was alone and held them fast like so until they went. Aye, even big old George, your uncle, left as easy as a baby.
That doesn't explain what happened to Middle. Middle's dead.
Will you stop that confounded talk, man? That map's not but a doodad. You fool. There's nothing to fear here. That map.
Andy, talk about something else, quick. It's important.
We're finished with talking. Finished you are with maps and pins black and white.
Talk about something else, I said. It's important right now. Talk about anything else. Now.
Why?
Because I caused you to kill those people. Andy, you better get this straight right now. You heard that lieutenant. It's possible for some people to have things inside them that make other things happen. Nothing is impossible for a man like that if he thinks about it hard enough. I know you, Andy. You're no killer. I made you do it.
You talked me into killing them? Then they could all be back.
Andy, I never knew it.
How'd you come for that? That noise. Can't you hear it?
Andy, stop. There's nobody.
They could all be back. They could all be back. Stop. Don't let them take me, sir. Go with that. You should have said it. The white men's fault. But now the faith. Not the Andrex. Go away. Go away and leave me alone. Go away. Go. And save me, Bobby.
He's dead, Lieutenant.
All right, forget the normal procedure. Get him out of here. Exhibit A. He really didn't need it. They died of fright first, just like he did.
You're forgetting about those 7 trips to the mausoleum, Lieutenant. 7 bodies, 7 trips.
They helped.
Lieutenant, Jacob Middle died in Paris.
Well, that was a plant, Mr. Kraft. Middle's all right. Sorry we had to put you through this, but it was the best way to make McKee come out in the open.
Mrs. Middle stayed up all night at headquarters, waiting for us to call in.
A radio car is posted just outside. We signaled her to phone you and tell you that lie about her husband. Am I getting through to you, Mr. Kraft?
Well, not quite yet.
We watched him, Bob. He actually managed to unearth all 7 of them. Wonder what got into him.
It was those white pens. It was. Annie, I've lost my overcoat.
Oh, where? Which one? I'll get it.
No, never mind. I think I can find it myself.
So there you have it. Another monochromatic movie marvel and really creepy. This movie teach me that it's important that you buy voodoo-free office supplies or you might have bad consequences. It also teach me that if someone else does evil and they make you think that you did it, that doesn't mean that your psychic powers didn't make them do it. Or did it? Who knows? So until next time, or not, this is Arachna of the Spider People, wishing you nighty night, and don't let any black pushpins bite. Deadly, what do you have there? A voodoo doll? A voodoo doll with a big pin in it? Where'd you get that? You found it on the front porch with a tag on it. Okay, what does it say? If found, return to the dead or undead cemetery. The dead or undead cemetery. Isn't that the creepy one around the corner? I don't know much about voodoo, but I do think it's a power to do good or evil. So if we return this little guy to the cemetery, we're doing a good deed, right? What's the harm in that? Okay, let's go. Let's take him back. Oh, Deadly, I forgot how spooky cemeteries are. This place gives me the willies. Let's get this done right away and get out of here. I don't want any spooks to get us. They must know he's here. Okay, let's go in. So where does a voodoo doll live in a cemetery anyhow? I don't see a map that says voodoo dolls over there. And why is this doll moaning? Well, it probably has a lot to do with this big old pin stuck into his chest. Okay, little voodoo doll, you're home now. I'm just going to take this big old pin out of you so you feel better. Ow! That pin just pricked me. What just happened? What have I done? This is terrible. I've turned into a doll. Pulling out that pin must have put a voodoo curse on me. Not only am I now a doll, but even worse, I'm a puppet. Let's try to find that voodoo doll and put the pin back. Maybe it'll break the curse. Where'd he go? There he is. Let's get him. Do I hear music? Deadly, come back here. No dancing right now. This is important. Stop it. What am I doing? No singing either.
When it gets too hot for comfort and you can't get ice cream cones, take no sin, take off skin and dance around.
Come back here, little voodoo doll. I won't hurt you. Stop! Let me put this pin back into your chest.
Take off skin and dance around your bones.
Where'd he go? I don't see him. There he is. Boy, he's fast. Deadly, come back here. He's ducked out of sight. I don't see him. Do you see him, Deadly? Stop! Come back here. Let me put this pin back into your chest. Gotcha! Oh, Deadly, that worked. I'm back to normal. Oh, let's get out of here. But the next time you find a voodoo doll with a pin in it, leave him alone. Those pins have supernatural powers. Who would have guessed?
Hey, Joe, drag your foot, boy. Look what we got here. Hey, you want to drag, huh? Sure. Come on, man. Get ready.
I'll show him how to drive. Just watch me.
sir. As high as this river is right now, and with all the mud and sand it's carrying, they may never find that car.
See, there were 3 girls. Right there.
All right, now let's hear your story about how it happened.
It wasn't our fault, sir.
Yeah?
We were the first ones on the bridge, and coming along, following the tracks, and they wanted to get around us, I guess, and they lost control and they dropped off.
You sure you didn't crowd them off?
Three hours. Yeah, not sure I want to find that car now. With this sand and with that current, we may never find it. Yeah, all I guess we can do is keep trying.
Come on, let's get down there.
It's Mary Henry.
Are you all right?
How'd you get out?
Here, put this on. We better get you back to town.
What about the other girls?
I don't remember.
Is this like the one I'll be playing in Utah?
It's quite similar. I supervised the installation myself. The accident won't delay your going, will it?
No. I'm leaving this morning. There's nothing I can do here.
That's right.
Well, Mary, you'll make a fine organist for that church. Be very satisfying to you, I think.
It's just a job to me.
Well, it's not quite the attitude for going into church work.
I'm not taking the vows. I'm only going to play the organ.
You want more than that? Of course, it doesn't pay much, but, well, at least it's a start. Are you driving by Benton to see your folks?
No, I can't. I must hurry. I've got to leave. I'm going to drive straight through.
Mary, it takes more than intellect to be a musician. Put your soul into it a little, okay? Good luck, Mary. Stop by and see us the next time you're in.
Thank you. But I'm never coming back.
Can I help you?
Fill it up.
All right.
Anything else, lady?
Could you tell me what that big structure is back a few miles by the lake?
Oh, you mean the old bathhouse? That used to be a pretty ritzy place in the old days. Then the lake went down and they made a dance hall out of it. Then they put those buildings up out there and made some sort of a carnival there for a while. That's years ago, though. Just stands out there now.
I see. I have an address here of a rooming house. Could you direct me?
Oh, sure. Well, that's just right over here a little ways.
Been saving it for you since I got your letter. Could have rented it yesterday if I'd wanted.
Oh, it's fine. It's just about what I expected.
I knew you'd like it. This ain't no regular rooming house, you know. I only got you and Mr. Linden across the hall. Each room's got its own private bathroom, too. You can take all the baths you want. I'm not one to fuss about things like that.
Thank you. I think I'll be quite comfortable.
Well, hope you'll stay a while. I'm downstairs in the back part of the house, so if there's anything else you need, guess I'll have to wait till morning. Night.
Good night, Mrs. Thomas.
And this, Miss Henry, is our pride and joy.
You know this was made in the same town where I've been studying.
Of course, that's where we heard about you. Oh, by the way, you have found a place to stay.
Yes, I have a room.
Good. Well, we hope you're going to like it here. We're not the largest church in this area, of course, but we have a nice congregation. We'll have to have some sort of reception. They'll want to meet you.
Couldn't we just skip that?
Skip that? Well, I don't suppose it's an absolute necessity. I don't know what some of the ladies will say.
If they say I'm a fine organist, that should be enough, shouldn't it?
Well, yes, of course. We'll let it go at that for the time being. But, my dear, you cannot live in isolation from the human race, you know.
Mind if I try this now?
I want you to. Next door at the manse, if you need me. We have an organist capable of stirring the soul. What do you see?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. I've practiced the whole afternoon and it's gotten me in a mood.
You need some fresh air. I've got to make a call out past the lake. Would you like to come along for the ride?
You know that old pavilion out there?
Mm-hmm.
Will we pass it?
Go right by it. Stop and look at it if you like.
I would, with you along.
Good. This used to be quite a place. It's been deserted for a long time now.
Will you take me in?
My goodness, no. It isn't safe out there anymore. That's why they put up this barrier.
It'd be very easy to step around it.
What attraction could there be for you out there?
I'm not sure. I'm a reasonable person. I don't know. Maybe I want to satisfy myself that the place is nothing more than it appears to be. Would you take me out there?
No. The law has placed it off limits. Wouldn't be very seemly for a minister to break the law, would it?
No. Maybe I can come back some other time.
Shall we go along now?
That'd be you.
Good evening.
That organ playing must take a long time. You've been gone most the whole day.
I went for a long drive in the country with my new boss, an elderly minister.
Oh, that must have been a kick in the head. I learned that from my other boarder, Mr. Linden. Did you get your supper?
Oh, I forgot.
Well, this ain't no boarding house, but I got some coffee and sandwich makings left. I could bring you some up after a while.
Good. I'll be taking one of those baths you're so generous with.
Well, take as many as you want. I ain't one to make a fuss about a thing like that.
You and Mrs. Thomas.
Yeah, I wondered when you asked me in. I'm John Linden. I'm your neighbor right across the hall.
Oh, nice to meet you. Would you excuse me?
Hey, I'm just wondering
I
if you're not
just
doing it.
stand right there. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Mary Henry.
Oh, yeah, I know. I heard you tell Mrs. Thomas you haven't ate anything yet, huh? Well, yeah, I just thought, being neighborly and all, see, I haven't eaten anything either. I just thought maybe I'd ask you out to dinner.
Oh, that's very thoughtful of you, but I can't accept.
I know. We haven't met or anything yet, but I just thought...
I'm sorry. You'll have to excuse me.
Look, there's a real nice restaurant, right down the street, and I just thought, well, I'm just kind of a guy who doesn't like to eat by himself.
I've made arrangements to eat in my room tonight.
Hey, if you change your mind, you just holler. Looks kind of lonesome in here.
Good night, Mr. Linden.
Miss Henry? It's Miss Thomas.
Who's the man in the hall?
Man? Oh, you must mean Mr. Linden. He has the room across the hall.
No, I mean the other one.
There is no other. Me and you and Mr. Linden. Us three is all there is in this house.
But you must have passed him out there.
You're needing this food. Going without eating makes you jumpy sometimes. Maybe you heard the boards pop or something. These old houses creak worse than my knees.
I didn't hear him, Mrs. Thomas. I saw him.
Now, don't talk that way. I don't sleep so good as it is. It's these old houses. They're big enough so that you could hide a man in every corner. You just gotta not let your imagination run away with you.
Are you going out there?
Well, of course. There's nobody there. Now you just go and eat that sandwich I made for you. Don't drink the coffee. If coffee keeps you awake,
it won't.
Coffee never keeps me awake.
Good morning. I heard your alarm. I knew you'd be up. Guess what I got?
I can't imagine.
Just what it takes to start the day off right. I make it in my room. You know, it saves me having to go out and get dressed up. I guess I had to get dressed to come over here anyway.
Oh, it looks just like what I need.
Well, and 2 cups of coffee coming up.